Hi there folks, welcome back to the Damian Fishing channel. I hope you're doing really well. It is Review Tuesday and we've got a really cool review coming up for you on a super popular product that you guys ask about an awful lot in the comments section over the last 2 or 3 years. First off, I want to say thank you very much for joining us. If you're not a current subscriber, please don't forget to hit the subs button. That way you'll be kept in touch with all the news, all the reviews, all the fishing and all the other stuff that IB and I get up to. If you are already a subscriber, thank you very much for joining us again. Really appreciate it. Just a very quick reminder, we've got one of those, and we've got one of those currently in the web shop, abangling.co.uk/shop. The new merch is out now. Don't forget to go if you want to support the channel in any way. It'd be absolutely fantastic. Get yourself a really cool new hat. We've got the OG orange, we've got the hide and hook set camo. Really cool. Really hope you guys enjoy the caps. In terms of the review today, this is a product that gets asked about a lot, as I've said. This is something that I've been using, well actually when I was doing the research for this vlog, I couldn't believe it. This is a product that I first encountered in 2014. It's nearly 7 years that I first laid eyes on what was the original prototype of this product. And it's been great to watch it kind of evolve over the years. It's gone through a few different stages, a few different versions, a bit of a break in between, but I'll get onto that in a second. And this is the Living the Dream Mark V catch and release fly fishing scoop net. And this is something that, as I say, you guys ask about a huge amount. It's something that looks totally different in the vlogs. It's something that you wouldn't expect to find in your shops. I'm fairly certain you wouldn't find these in any retailers at the moment. But this is something that has been part of my fishing armoury now for, as I say, for 7 years. Literally, this is all I've used, or pretty much all I've used for fly fishing on rivers for the past 7 years. And what I want to do is explain why I use these nets and what the advantages of them are. So as I say, it was 7 years ago that I first met up with another Derbyshire fishing guy, Glen, Pointon. We went out for a fish and he said he was bringing something with him that they've been working on that they wanted to test and perhaps do a little product video on. I had no idea what it was. I'll try and roll some B-roll actually of that original video. Unfortunately, during the course of the day, I was lucky enough to catch a really big grayling and we created the video, and to be honest, I didn't really think much more of it. But actually it turned out that video was fairly important in releasing the brand and launching the nets to the wider public. Living the Dream is a company that is essentially two guys. It's Damian Robinson and Glen Pointon, both based in the Midlands, both Derbyshire anglers, both fanatical grayling and trout anglers on running water. And they came up with this idea that as soon as I saw it, the very first time Glen showed me this net, I looked at it and it was just like a light bulb moment. It was like, why has no one done that before? It's so obvious, it's so simple, it's such a great idea. It was one of those moments where you think, why didn't I think of that? You know, it's perfect for what you want it to do, and for the way that the 21st century river angler wants to approach treating the fish, it is spot on. They absolutely nailed it. You will notice though a difference between the B-roll I've got and what I've got in my hands. It has changed a lot over the years. It's changed a lot for the better, and we've got to the point now where Living the Dream as a brand is starting to branch out. They're shipping these nets out globally, and this is the Mark V. This is the one that's on the market. This is the one that all the guys, if you're really fish conscious, if you're fish welfare conscious, you fish in rivers regularly, this is the net that you'd want to buy. First off, I just want to explain the theory behind it because that's quite important. The idea is that once you've got a fish in this net, because the rim is made out of foam, because actually the handle is made out of a type of neoprene which also floats quite nicely, once you've got a fish in this net, you can pretty much just leave it sat there in the water. It minimises the handling. You know, if you want to unhook a fish and it's deeply hooked, you haven't got to hold it in both hands and fiddle around with it. You can just leave it sat in the net. It's absolutely brilliant for that, and that is primarily what this is about, is minimising the fish handling when you're wading in a river. Allied to that, if you're able to leave the fish in the net in situ, you know, if you've had a really epic battle with a fish and you want to leave it to rest for a few minutes before you handle it, you want to make sure the lactic acid has gone away from the fish's system and that it's calm and relaxed. Often what I'll do is I'll hook that fish and I'll land it, I'll leave it in the net, and just using my lanyard, I'll just pin it to the bank. And I'll either sit down and relax and try and stop shaking a little bit, or to be honest, there's been times where I've left a fish in the net and just carried on fishing for a few minutes and then gone back to the fish and been able to release it. These are things you just cannot do with normal net. That was what this was all about. It's all about fish welfare, but there are some real fishing benefits as well. One of those is the weight of it. It is really lightweight. I've just weighed this. It came in at about 265 grams, which puts it at about 80-90 grams lighter than IB's homemade version. IB did a vlog on how to make your own version of this using some pipe lag and some cable ties. It's really neat, it works really nicely, it doesn't look quite the same, and as I say, it's considerably heavier. So that is the kind of Heath Robinson's job. That is the proper job, and as I say, it's considerably lighter than IB's version. This is great because it means while you're moving around in between swims and stuff like that, you haven't got it falling off your back. Even a 3 kilo magnet like this is plenty. It's never fallen off my back. I don't think it ever will just because it's so light. And with it being light, it's just more manoeuvrable as well. It's easier to handle than a big heavy kind of wooden scoop net or something like that. It really does weigh absolutely nothing. From an in the water perspective, one of the other things I really like about the net is the fact that it's buoyant enough that it can take the weight of a rod and reel rested on it. So if you have got to go into your pack to get your forceps, or if you're drying a fly and you need to put your rod down, or any instance where you might need to take your rod out of both hands, you can actually rest it across the net. I've done this with 11-foot rods. It holds the weight absolutely fine. So as well as being a fishing net, it also gives you a little platform to support a rod and reel if you absolutely need to. So between the lightweight and the very obvious fish handling advantages, I think we've got the ultimate river angler's scoop net here. I haven't found anything better on the market than these. In terms of the idea, in terms of the theory, I don't think I ever will. It's absolutely spot on. So these are entirely made in the UK. In fact, pre-lockdown, I was able to go and see Damo, have a little look inside his workshop and actually watched him make a net. It was fascinating to watch, but it isn't just him who's involved in it. So we'll talk a little bit about materials here. The mesh that they've used, they've gone through a few different types of mesh. This is the final mesh. It is incredibly lightweight, it's incredibly soft. It is micro mesh, it's really, really fish friendly. It's absolutely spot on. I don't think they could have picked a better mesh for the job than that. Really, really nice. The fabric covering the foam on the pan is incredibly high quality ripstop. Damo has become an absolute world's authority in ripstop nylon fabrics because he wanted to find what was the absolute best for the job here. And actually he said that what he came up with was a lot more expensive than he anticipated, but it's worth the extra money. He knew it was worth the extra money. It's incredibly rugged, super durable, really, really micro, so it's not going to constantly catch hooks. I must admit, I don't think I've caught a hook on this most recent one, which is a real advantage actually, because sometimes on IB's version you can catch a hook on the side of it. So incredibly high quality material there. In fact, the material is such high quality that you can't just stitch it at home with a normal sewing machine. The guys that live in the dream have to get this stitched individually by a professional seamstress with all the proper kit. So as well as having Damo assembling the nets in his workshop, you've actually got a professional seamstress who is putting all this together, which is fantastic. If you're looking for something that is entirely UK made and UK built, here you are, and this is as good a quality as you could possibly wish for. There's a couple of little touches on the catch and release net that I really like as well. First off, the seamstress, Damo's designed it obviously, but the seamstress has sewn in a little loop here onto which you can put a magnet. In fact, the Mark V net comes supplied with a little split ring as well, so all you have to do is put your own magnet on there. I really like that. And it's the same down here. There's actually a little loop stitched into the net. It's part of the fabric in the net, onto which there's a little split ring, onto which you can put your own lanyard, which makes sure that while you've got that fish in the net, you can just keep the lanyard pinned to you, it's not going to drift away. You guys have seen in videos before, sometimes I forget that and it drifts off, but you always notice it. Another nice little touch at the bottom here, Damo's made sure that the bottom of the handle is really well sealed so no water gets inside. It's very, very difficult for any water to get into this, which means it retains that lightweight during the course of a day's fishing. Again, sometimes with IBs we find that water gets inside that pipe lagging, and actually by the end of the day it probably weighs a couple hundred more grams than it did at the start. One of the big differences between the Mark I net that I encountered first in 2014 and the Mark V net, the current one on the market, are the dimensions of it. So this one is 22 centimetres across the inside rim and 52 centimetres from the end of the handle there to the inside of the rim there. So plenty big enough for the vast majority of UK species. If you're hunting giant trout in New Zealand or something like that, it might be a little bit too small for UK anglers, and for most European anglers that is going to be plenty big enough. The total length of the whole net is 72 centimetres, so you've got a fair amount of reach there actually for a scoop net. It's pretty long, you've got plenty of reach so you can get a little bit closer to your fish while you're playing them in faster water as well. So all in all, an absolutely fantastic package, and as I say, it's been really nice to watch the evolution of this net through the years to the point where it's got to now. As I say, the big change is definitely the shape of it, and that's been brought about by what was probably the main weakness of the original net. The original net was quite a lot broader than this across the pan, it was quite a lot wider. And there was a little bit of a problem with that original net in faster water. Because it's made of quite bulky materials, they're lightweight but they're bulky. actually when you were trying to net a fish in really fast water, it could be a bit of a problem because you dip it in and then the water would just wash it away straight away. So one of the key reasons for the change in shape is actually to avoid that. I spoke to Damian about this a few times actually, and to be honest, there are very few instances in my fishing where I'm stood in ridiculously fast water trying to net a fish. I think I can think of one instance in Slovenia where it was a bit of a problem. Generally, if you're trying to net a fish in really crazy fast water, you probably stood in the wrong part of the river to land a fish anyway. But by slimming that down, the guys that live in the dream were able to partly reduce the amount of drag in the water, which means that's far less of an issue than it was with the original Mark 1 net. As you probably guessed, guys, I absolutely love these things. I think it's such a great idea by two guys who design and build all of this stuff in the UK. They've been super popular. You see a lot more of these all over Facebook and Instagram and stuff like that. It's not a cheap piece of kit, don't get me wrong. This is the part of the video that a few of you are probably going to balk at. These are not cheap nets. At £90, this is probably one of the most expensive scoop nets on the market. But you have to just wait a second when you think about that price. First off, it's gone through nearly 7 years of R&D to get to this point. Damian has said that the materials he's used on this are ridiculously expensive. As I say, particularly the ripstop fabric, the fact that it's all assembled by one guy in his workshop in Derbyshire and Staffordshire. It's a lot of money for a net. But if you're the kind of angler who really cares passionately about fish care, if you're really keen on supporting UK businesses, and if you want a net with all the fantastic features that I've already talked about, is it worth £90? Well, I've paid it. So yes, I really do think it is. I just don't think there's a better river angler's net on the market than this. Not only for the fish care aspect, but also for the fishing features as well. It supports a UK business. It supports a great idea and a great theory in a business that's hopefully is going to grow. I have a feeling by now there are probably some cheaper copies of this on the market, or there will be in the future, but there is only one original. This was two guys who had a little bit of an idea and a bit of a dream and have managed to create a product that is absolutely spectacular. I love it. Anyone who buys this net is going to absolutely love it. It's going to last a long time. Folks, if you're interested in buying the net, please support Living the Dream and go to their website, livingthedreamflyfishing.co.uk. I'll put that on the screen down here somewhere. I'll also put a link to their website in the description box below. If you're in the market for a new river trout net for the upcoming season, please consider one of these. In terms of fish welfare, there just isn't anything better available, and I highly doubt there will be anything for the future. The Living the Dream Catch and Release Net Mark 5, an absolutely essential piece of kit in my eyes. Fantastic. Folks, that about wraps this one up. Thank you very much for watching the vlog. Really appreciate it. Let us know what you thought. Let us know if you're a user of the net. Let us know if you're a potential purchaser of the net. As I say, please support a local business, a British business. Two guys who are making these in a workshop. It's really important we support these businesses. And all that's left for me to say is thank you very much for watching the vlog. Really appreciate it. If you've enjoyed it, give it a like. Share it with some friends if they're looking for a new net. And I will see you guys again very soon for some more fishing and stuff. Also, don't forget the hats. Hiding hooks at camo, OG orange. You know you want to. Take care, folks. Bye-bye.